Hello, art friends. My name is Fleshwad, and today you are watching what was supposed to be my last video of 2018. But some stuff happened, and it is now very, very, very late. But anyways, in today's video, I will be taking a look at the horror movies of 2018 and combining them into one mega movie monster. So sit back, relax, and grab some popcorn if you need to. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the movies that have been released in 2018, so this video may contain spoilers. I will be rating the movies on my own scale of buy, rent, or forget, and as well as on a scale of 1 to 10. Speaking of movie monsters, I want to give a quick shout out to fellow horror YouTuber Freaky Attraction. He reads creepypastas and he also has a cool mini series titled Movie Monster Matchups. I definitely recommend. Please check out his channel. I will leave it linked in the description down below. Okay, on to the video. Our first movie is A Quiet Place. The movie follows the Abbott family, and it's about how they struggle to survive in a post-apocalyptic world where most life has been wiped out by blind creatures of unknown descent. The creatures, while blind, are very sensitive to sound and are instantly drawn to it, leading any survivors of this world to be very, very quiet. Basically, if they hear you, you're dead. While the movie has monsters, its main focus is that of the family. That being said, the movie only really showcases the monsters a handful of times. They are very fast and are almost always out of sight. It is definitely a cool feature and helps the viewer stay aware of the incredibly fast monster, but it also leaves the viewer with curiosity of the monster's whereabouts and origins. The movie never explains directly how the creatures came about. We learn little by little that the monsters who now inhabit this world are very fast and very strong. They are blind and use sonar to move around. They have heightened hearing abilities and are also armored, making it nearly impossible to kill one. For my drawing, I decided to keep the long arms of these creatures. We see a handful of times in the movie that the creature walks on all fours and uses their arms, or rather the claws at the end, to slash their prey and possibly eat them. I also kept the head design of these creatures, drawing it on only half of the face of my movie monster. We can see that she has these flaps on her face that open up to reveal a sharp set of teeth. On the side of the head, the flap opens to reveal a huge ear. So, time for ratings. Would I buy it, rent it, or forget it? I would totally buy this movie, but maybe not for a year or two. I probably wouldn't rent it again, but I would not forget it, definitely. I rate it a 9 out of 10. The other half of the face is inspired by The Strangers Pray at Night. This is a sequel to the first film, The Strangers. We follow a family who spends the night in a trailer park before they take their daughter to boarding school. Of course, the park is inhabited by 3 killers: Dollface, Pinup, and Man in Mask. The left side of my creature's face is obviously inspired by Pinup.
Leave us alone!
But we've just started.
Even though she's only in this movie for about 2 seconds, I am just in love with her mask. This movie, a lot of people did not like it. I think those who didn't like it don't really understand the premise. It isn't more or less than what it should be, in my opinion. It's just a good slasher film. The killers kill for no reasons, the characters make dumb decisions. It's a satire of horror, but it can be easily written off as cliche. The strangers at work, because it's pretty dead. Like, this guy's gonna be in a little bit. Too soon. I, on the other hand, felt that it was good for what it was. I wouldn't buy it, but I did rent it. I would only watch it again if I was going to do a Strangers 1 and 2 marathon, but I definitely wouldn't forget it. 7 out of 10. Next up, Truth or Dare. Truth or Dare is a supernatural thriller that brings a whole other level to the high school game by the same name. In Truth or Dare, a group of 6 friends embark on a trip to Mexico for spring break. There they meet a man known as Carter. Carter convinces the group to follow him into a mansion of ruins to play Truth or Dare, only to realize that the game they are playing is not as innocent as they believe it to be. They learn that once invited into the game, you must play or die. If you refuse, the game takes control of your body and forces you to kill yourself, all while donning a very sinister, unnaturally wide smile. I decided to give the masked side of the creature this smile. If you see this smile, you're pretty much dead. As for the rating of this movie, buy it, rent it, or forget it, I say rent it. I give it a 7 out of 10. The ending just didn't have full closure for me, and also the movie felt very high school horror, which I sometimes like my horror to be a little bit more than that. But it's definitely not a bad movie, so check it out if you haven't. Next on the list is Slenderman. I of course saw this movie in theaters. I mean, come on, this is somewhat of a creepypasta channel at this point, right? And I did thoroughly enjoy it, although yes, I may be biased since Slenderman is my favorite creepypasta character, and seeing him in theaters was surreal. This movie follows 4 friends who summon Slenderman, believing he is not real. After Slenderman starts to come for the girls one by one, while also leading them to hallucinate, which was really, really cool to see. I took Slendy's tentacles and used them as the legs for my movie monster. They are how she moves around besides the long appendages, and they also contribute to her speed. As far as buy it, rent it, or forget it, I do plan on buying it. I rated a 9 out of 10 only because I wish I could have seen more Slenderman. The pose of our creature and possibly even the physical movements are inspired by the possession of Hannah Grace. I recently saw this movie in theaters with Minty Unicorn, hi Minty if you're watching, and at the time I was definitely spooked. But looking back on it, logically this movie makes no sense. However, like I mentioned, I was really scared while watching it. I didn't even want to talk because I was like so into the movie. It's really, really creepy, and it does a really great job of setting the mood. The movie showcases ex-cop Megan Reed, who is trying to overcome the death of her partner and now a breakup with her boyfriend. While going to rehab meetings, I believe, her sponsor tells her of a graveyard shift job opening at the hospital morgue. Her first night on the job, she receives the disfigured corpse of Hannah Grace, who is the result of a failed exorcism, but is believed to be a victim of assault since she bears major cuts and burn marks on half of her body. The creepiest thing in this movie is the fact that the morgue's lighting is all on sensors and turns on and off depending whether or not it senses movement. It's so creepy. Like, I would not be able to work there. I'm just saying that right now. I would not. No. The only thing that bugs me about this movie is all of the unrealistic things that the demon/dead body is able to do. Like, for instance, killing people, like, all while being locked in the morgue freezer. I don't know, but if you don't think about it, it's a pretty creepy movie. So yes, I used a possession pose or demon spider pose where my movie monster is looking at you upside down, while also walking backwards towards you. She has a huge laceration on her neck and stomach similar to Hannah Grace. The Slendy tentacles protrude from the laceration at the stomach, but this is also where a pretty gnarly tongue extends out of. As far as buy, rent, or forget, I would possibly forget it. It's pretty much like any other possession movie and is only really scary in a theater setting. 6 out of 10. Our next movie, if you hadn't already guessed, is Venom. I also saw this movie with Minty Unicorn. Now I know Venom isn't really a horror movie, but I did super want to use Venom's iconic tongue in my movie monster, so that's why it is on this list, coupled with the fact that I really thoroughly enjoyed this movie. In Venom, we follow Eddie, a down-on-his-luck investigative journalist who loses his job due to trying to pry information about a company called Life Foundation. He also consequently loses his girlfriend in the same day. Somewhere in the movie, he picks up an alien symbiote that the Life Foundation has brought back to Earth from a comet and develops a host relationship with the symbiote who goes by the name Venom. It is an action-packed comedy, which I rate 10 out of 10. I probably wouldn't buy the movie since it doesn't really fit into my movie collection, but I would definitely rewatch. Also, I could totally see my boyfriend buying it though, so I might own it one day. Next movie on this list is Bird Box. Bird Box is a Netflix original movie and tells the story of a post-apocalyptic world where invisible creatures plague the world. We learn that looking at the creatures causes a person to commit suicide. The movie follows mom Mallory and 2 children who are searching for a safe place across a dangerous river. The plot goes back and forth from the beginning of the apocalypse and then to 5 years after the incident, which I really think is a cool concept. My movie monster draws inspiration from the birds in Bird Box. In the movie, the birds chirp to alert the humans that the invisible creatures are nearby. For my movie monster, I went a little bit of a different route. My monster produces bird shadows from her tentacles, which alert others of her presence but also allow her to spy on them. It's so that she can sense if anyone is around. So buy it, rent it, or forget it. Well, it is available to stream on Netflix, so I would definitely suggest doing so if you haven't. I probably would not buy the movie, but nonetheless, I found myself completely immersed in the Bird Box universe, and 9 out of 10 would recommend. Cam is the next film on this list. It is a psychological horror, and the main reason I decided to turn my movie monster into a lady. Cam leads us along a terrifying journey of a cam girl who is desperately trying to get into the top 10 ranking. She does crazy, gory shows, and things seem to be going pretty well for her until her account gets hacked by a lookalike. I guess another play into Cam could be that my monster is two-faced. If you've seen Cam, you know what I'm talking about. There are so many cool facial features on all of the monsters talked about in this video and all the monsters in the 2018 movies, and it was super hard to choose only 2, which is why I didn't give inspiration to Cam for the face, but for the gender. Cam is an adult film, so I would not recommend watching unless you're 18 or older. It has a lot of adult themes. I really love the suspense in the film. I also found it refreshing to see a different take on the life of a cam girl. The story was told as a horror movie, where the main character just so happens to be a cam girl. There was no sexualization of Alice or Lola, the main character. The movie just kind of told her story, all while being suspenseful and eerie. As far as buy, rent, or forget, I would totally buy this movie. I definitely plan on buying it. Even though it's on Netflix, I would like to own it. I'm a huge fan of Blumhouse Productions, and this movie definitely stacks up. I rate 10 out of 10. Next up is Hellfest. I actually have a review of this movie on my second channel, so check it out if you dare. I will leave it linked below. Hellfest is about 3 groups of couples who end up at Hellfest, one of the biggest horror fests in the world. However, while trying to let loose and enjoy the night, the group ends up being stalked and killed one by one by a masked killer. There is one scene where 2 of the characters are trying to hide from the killer, and they find a room of hooded masked figures. They end up hiding under the robes, and it is honestly just aesthetic to me. I decided to incorporate those masks into the body of my movie monster. So buy it, rent it, or forget it. I don't think I would buy it or rent it unless it was close to Halloween night, but I definitely wouldn't forget this movie. It was pretty cool. I guess if I had to choose, I would say rent, but like I said, probably somewhere close to Halloween. As for rating, I give it an 8 out of 10. Last on the list. Whew, this is a long list. And this is not even all of the movies in 2018. It was just my favorite, or like actually the ones that I've seen, because there was a couple that I did not see. I didn't see The First Purge. I didn't see Cloverfield Paradox. I didn't get to see Halloween, but I do plan on seeing it. What else? I think that's it. There might be a couple more that I can't remember, but yeah, I didn't get to see all of the movies of 2018. I know I crammed so many like horror movies into this last week just so that I could make this video, which is kind of why it's late, but also other reasons. But yeah, so anyways, the last on the list, I have been saving the best for last. Hereditary. I have not stopped thinking about this movie since I saw it. Granted, that was like 4 or 5 days ago, but wow, this movie. It's safe to say that this movie will stick with me until the day I die. I won't say any spoilers because I really think that it's a movie that you should see for yourself. The movie is about the loss of a mother and how a daughter deals with the inner demons her mother left behind, all while trying to parent her own children. The movie was a bit confusing if you aren't very knowledgeable about the occult and stuff, which I'm not, but I was really, really into it nonetheless. There is a huge theme of decapitation within the movie, which we see when Charlie, the little girl, cuts off the head of the dead pigeon, as well as several other times in the movie and towards the ending. So I decided to give my movie monster a decapitated head, as well as little dolls stuffed into her long arms, because the mom in the movie does make little doll figures, I think for I think she's like planning to be in an art museum or something. So she has like these really, really interesting, cool looking little houses with little dolls in them. So creepy, just the way it's set up, but also very cool. I wish I could do something like that. I would totally buy this movie, and I give it a 10 out of 10 for how haunting it is. So, to sum up my movie monster, she's a very tall, slender creature. She has slim, black tentacles for legs and long, armored appendages for arms, both giving her tremendous speed, while keeping her quiet and easily hidden. On both of her arms, we can see sunken in masks. However, it is unclear as to why they are there. She also has what appears to be dolls sticking out of her long, strong arms. She has incredible strength and a taste for blood. She can devour her prey in multiple ways, but one of her favorite ways is to use her long tongue that shoots out of a slice in her stomach. Her head is decapitated and seems to float a couple of inches away from her body. She is two-faced. The right side of her face contains skin flaps that open when she can sense her prey. However, it has no eyes. The left side of her face is doll-like and made of plastic. She dons a creepy, inhuman smile, and once her prey sees this smile, they're pretty much dead. Since she is half blind, she has the ability to form raven shadows from her tentacles, and they act as her eyes, alerting others of her presence while also letting her spy on them. She is known as the bird mother with tentacles. I'm not great at names, so if you have one, please comment down below. My movie monster really reminds me of the mannequin monster in Silent Hill 2. So let me know if you see that connection. Also, if you have seen Silent Hill 2, you're really cool, because I love Silent Hill. And that was all of the movies that influenced my movie monster. It was an A-okay year for horror. We saw a lot of good creature features this year, but I am definitely excited to see what 2019 brings to the theater. I will be reacting to a couple of trailers for movies that are coming out this year on my second channel, which is called In the Flesh TV. Please check it out and subscribe if you haven't, because I'm going to be posting a lot more on there this year. Make sure to comment your thoughts on my movie monster down below. I also have a question for you. What was your favorite horror movie of 2018, and are there any 2019 horror movies that you're looking forward to? Comment your answer down below. My answer is a tie between Cam and Hereditary for my favorite movie of the year, and for a movie that I'm really looking forward to, as of right now, I would have to say I'm looking forward to Happy Death Day 2. Hope you guys had a very happy New Year's. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next video, bye!